Well, hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to Creation Laboratory, where science and the Bible work to illustrate truths of our marvelous Creator. Today we will be doing a little magic as we use the laws of physics to our advantage. And my assistant for this experiment today is Nathaniel. Say hello, Nathaniel.
Hello.
Well, our experiment today will help us to better understand the concept of faith. Faith and trust are very closely related. I like to think of trust as the action we take in response to having faith. If you haven't seen our experiment about trust, I suggest you check out episode 5 of Creation Lab on the CCGS Kids YouTube channel. Well, today's experiment will help to elaborate on that subject even further. Are you ready, assistant?
Yes.
Well then, why don't you tell the children at home what they need in order to try this experiment themselves?
Okay. You will need a hammer. No, don't hit people with it.
Definitely
Please,
don't do that.
A ruler. A string. It can be any color you want. It doesn't have to be black. Scissors. Don't run with them. And a table.
Well, remember, boys and girls, that hammers and scissors are far from toys, just as Nathaniel said. If you wish to try this experiment at home, you must do so with the help of an adult. In order for you to see our experiment more easily, we are using a small side table, but any table with squared edges should work fine for you at home. Now, before we begin, we're going to form a hypothesis. Nathaniel, we are going to be attempting to get our ruler to hang out as far over the edge of the table as possible. Using the items we have here, how many inches past the edge of the table do you think we will be able to extend our ruler?
Well, I'm guessing it would be at least 7.
Very good. Well, now it's your turn to form a hypothesis. How many inches can we extend our ruler beyond the edge of our table? Ah, very well. Well, let us begin with the ruler on its own. Nathaniel, what I would like you to do first is to slide the ruler as far over the edge of the table as possible without it falling. Want to try one more time? Perfect. Well, thank you, Nathaniel. And how many inches is that?
That is actually 7 inches.
7 inches, wow. Well, in our illustration here, the ruler represents us. As you can see, we are imperfect as human beings, and we're quite limited in what we can accomplish on our own. But with God's help, we are able to accomplish much, much more. In Ephesians 3:20, it reminds us, "Now to him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us." So, for our second attempt, let us use the hammer to represent God. Okay, Nathaniel, go ahead and extend the ruler over the edge of the table while resting our hammer on the other edge of the ruler to prevent it from falling. Oh, would you look at that? Well, using the hammer, we can extend the ruler almost the entire 12 inches. Impressive. Like this second illustration, we can accomplish greater things when we rely on the strength of our God. But we can take our illustration of faith one step further. You see, according to Hebrews 11, verse 1, faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. Another translation puts it this way: what is faith? It is the confident assurance that something we want is going to happen. It is the certainty that what we hope for is waiting for us, even though we cannot see it up ahead. Faith is trusting God even though we do not know God's full plan, because we know that God can be relied upon. God rarely reveals his entire plan to us when he calls us to obey. Instead, we must trust in his love, his power, and his wisdom. He asks us to take a step of faith, even when we do not know what he will do. Are you ready to see this type of faith illustrated, Nathaniel?
Yep.
Well, for you at home, you will need to cut a 10-inch piece of string and tie its ends together to make a loop. Here at the lab, we have already done that. Alrighty then. Follow my instructions very carefully, Nathaniel. Place the handle of the hammer through the loop so that the string rests next to the top of the grip. The handle should be on the left side of the string and the head on the right. For you at home, your hammer may look a little different. Select a spot a little toward the head of the hammer and tape the string securely, if necessary, so it won't slip. Okay, Nathaniel, you done?
Yep.
Okay. Next, slide the ruler inside the loop from the handle side of the hammer so that the string is held up by the ruler at the 10-inch mark.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You're using centimeters like a European.
There.
Okay, now comes the tricky part. Let the rubber grip of the hammer rise up to touch the end of the ruler while the string hangs straight up and down holding the other end of the hammer. With one hand holding the ruler and the other holding the hammer, set the edge of the ruler that is on the head of the hammer onto the table, allowing the hammer to hang below the table. Remarkable! The hammer is hanging by the ruler as the ruler hangs over the edge of the table. How close to the edge is the ruler?
10.
10 inches.
Yes.
How about you move it just a little bit more? How about you go to the very, very edge?
It's still hanging.
You can move your hand. Outstanding! The ruler is now only touching the table at the very end, extending its entire length over the edge. Now that is impressive. The hammer, though not seen from above, is still at work holding the ruler in place. What a wonderful illustration of faith. Like the hammer, God is at work even when we do not see it clearly. When we take the step of faith, God strengthens us and we begin to see his plan unfold. And because of our faith, he is able to use us in mighty ways. In Matthew 17:20, Jesus tells his disciples, "For assuredly I say to you, if your faith is a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Jesus uses a somewhat comical illustration to explain that God can do anything. If we trust that God is capable, he can do great things in our lives, and we see that in the lives of so many people in the Bible. Noah, Abraham, Sarah, Moses, Daniel, Peter, and the list can go on and on and on. Well, Nathaniel, how did we do with our hypothesis? Were we correct?
Nope.
We were not. It seems that we can go even further if we allow God to take us that way.
Yep.
And what conclusion can we make from our experiment today? God is always at work, even when we cannot see it. We must have faith and take the steps that he calls us to take. And when we do, we will begin to see God's plan unfold, sometimes in amazing ways. Well, thank you, Nathaniel, for assisting me in our experiment today.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us once again here at Creation Lab. If you try our experiment at home, be sure to post a video of it on Instagram, tagged at CCGS Kids. I would love to see how you did. Hopefully you don't end up with a stubbed toe, like I did. I wasn't wearing a shoe. It really hurt. Well, anyways, until the next time, goodbye!